Grimbone, you got here so fast. I gotta show you. I should show you what I'm printing. I'll be right back. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show this to Grimbone. Excuse me, please. I barely even started this stream and I already got distracted. I'm turned down. Maybe the music's a little loud. Go down and scoosh. Bowie, are you ready? Bowie's ready. Bowie's already. Hi, hello. I've so been not streaming enough this year, and I apologize for that. I've actually been recording a number of videos for secret purposes, but those are not for public consumption. Look. Grimbone, I've been trying to like design more complex mechanical parts. This is for the guillotine that I'm building. So like it'll fold down and it like latches into this little latch. I didn't design this. But then like, it's gonna be hard. It goes like this, and then the guillotine is retained on this little roller bearing. And then when you activate this solenoid, this will flip up. And there'll be 5 of these, and it will drop the guillotine. Very exciting. Probably PLA is not the thing to use when you're trying to like hold a guillotine blade in place, you know? But you gotta start somewhere. I'm this close. I'm building it to cut vegetables, obviously. Why else would I build a guillotine? I'm building a musical guillotine, so it'll be kind of like. There's 5 of these and they're holding the blade, right? The guillotine blade is retained by these, and then you play a little passage on the keyboard, and like one little finger will go up and you play a little more. Because I learned that even though obviously the guillotine was designed by a man named Guillotine, the first guillotine was actually built by a harpsichord maker, a builder of musical instruments. And as a builder of something like musical instruments, I feel a kinship to this person. And so I think I need a stronger spring. A little bit stronger. I don't know. Springs are like dark magic that I don't really understand. The way I design with springs is to buy an assortment of like 200 springs and then try to find the one in it that is closest to the thing that I want. It's very... Maybe we get 2 of these springs? I don't know. We need a more intense spring. Pet G, you think what I'm thinking is aluminum, and so I'm this close to buying a mill for my house, which is trying Firefox over here. Seems stupid. Like, well, I also want a lathe, but that's not what I meant. Like, I was thinking of just getting a. I already moved my bed out of the bedroom. The bedroom's now my workshop. Just getting this little guy in there. What do you think of this little guy? Let's get this in there. The problem is I really want CNC. And like, once you start to say like, well, I'm going to take metal CNC seriously, oh boy, it gets real expensive. Although some like 3D printer people are starting to build, there's this thing. There's like, people pay money for these things. It's true. Like, problem with this thing is once you like add all this stuff, that's what happens with a lot of these. Once you add all this stuff, it's suddenly a vastly more expensive machine. And these gantry machines aren't really, I don't know. I don't think I could have this in my apartment. Or could I? So you at least need the enclosure and all that business. I don't know. So one thing people do, so there's a couple routes on this. Either you start with some little small nonsense thing like this, not this. They have a new mill. Maybe it's not even announced yet. This, which is a cute little feller. And it's kind of like a desktop mill, but you know, a desktop machine trying to cut aluminum is a very heavy maybe. But you know, we could add all that. Let's just add everything. Let's say I want everything. I want to give Rat Rig all the money that I can give them. I think that is not all the money. I think there's actually more money that I can give. That's the electronics enclosure, right, and the machine enclosure. But that doesn't include the electronics. So how do I think you still gotta like buy all this stuff, you know? Like I think you still have to, what's the advanced bundle? You've got to kind of like build it yourself, you know? So you're paying $1,000 to them and you're buying everything and you're assembling it yourself. Bits and speed to be able to cut things like that. I'm by no means an expert machinist, but my understanding is like the real thing is rigidity, and so much of rigidity comes from weight. And that's why, that's the thing you kind of can't replicate in a small machine. I mean, you actually can in a crazy way, but generally you want heavy machines. Wicked Witch, Lorena, sorry, getting distracted before I even start. I just want to I'm just trying to build a guillotine, just a normal project, like anybody would do in their home, is build a guillotine. And I need more metal, I need more capabilities to build it. So I'm starting in plastic for my guillotine release mechanisms, but I'm gonna want to migrate to metal. So like this world is becoming a world like these little desktop mills, which I think you can like power through and make small parts with. Or you just say like, well, I'm a serious person. And at the like lower end of lower end of like something that is a CNC mill that has tool change and all that kind of stuff, like starts at $8,000. But again, by the time you add the stuff, it's instantly a $24,000 machine. A plasma cutter, a desktop plasma cutter. I mean, flat things aren't that hard. You know, I have like producing flat things. I have a lot of options for. It's complex dimensional thing. But even when you've got this little feller, it instantly, this is $9,000. But as soon that's without the enclosure, if I'm not mistaken. And by the time you add stuff, yeah, $22,000. So, and this is probably not a thing I can just have in my apartment. You know, there is a desktop water jet cutter actually. I don't know if it's how insane that would be, but you can get like these little lasers and have water cutting capabilities at home. CNC plasma cutters exist and are not terribly expensive because you can get a handheld plasma cutter that just mounts in the gantry. Jojo, how's it going? But all that is to say is right now the thing I'm leaning towards is a cute little mill like this, with the possibility that I will do a manual CNC conversion later, because this is like right at the base size. I feel like maybe a little smaller even, where you can actually, okay, I can build things. But for stuff like this, like geometry like this is not like a fun manual milling project, you know? Like CNC would make it way easier. So another option is you send it out. Like the PCB companies will just do CNC milling for you now. We're going to the concession stand. I'm trying to think of the song. I made a fake song for that. And when I was in college, I made a version of that, of the like go to the concession stand thing. But except in my version, somebody like eats one of the hot dogs, but they're like sentient hot dog. You know, the food is sentient. And so there's a big hubbub. Is that not actually here? Gosh, is that not in my portfolio? It's got to be. Here it is. It was very silly. Look, it's even in 4x3. That's how long ago I went to college. Hundreds of years ago at this point. If I play this, it'll be really loud. This is very silly.
If you want to eat on the Richard Street, step right up to the concession stand if you're in London.
He's eating Frank.
Happy rise!
How'd you like it if I took a bite out of your head? Let's get him.
That was my silly.
If you want to eat on
So, what do we got over here? Oh, thanks. I like Wicked Witches. I was just reading about some, or listening to a reading of a book about very witchy things. Witchy anarchist things. Wait, what are you doing? Android CNC. That sounds horrible. Oh, ArcDroid. What is this? A cute little baby? Oh yeah, this thing. I don't know. I don't think I would use this. You can just, like a CNC gantry system is not very hard. And then you just like mount a handheld plasma cutter to it, or mount whatever you want to it. Anyway, you've really diverted me. Chess, I am staunchly anti-chess, with the exception of, chess rules in Sudoku. But as a general principle, I've decided to be heavily anti-chess. Oh my god. I haven't decided how to actually say, we have this problem repeatedly, and I try to decide, am I going to try to pronounce your screen name? And I come up with like Isamuk. Certain games of chess. I like, what do I like? I like in Wizard Chess where they ride around on the pieces. That's all good. I mean, that's a thing that we like writing. I'm fine with writing chess pieces. Okay, but we're here. Listen, you've already distracted me, Grimbone. Wait, a Sudoku that showcases a chess game? I'm curious about that. But we have a... Listen, no more CNC. Bowie, see, Bowie's done with this. We don't have the Bowie cam set up. We should probably get the Bowie cam set up. Hold, please. One of my favorite things is just a weird, like, kind of a personality quirk, is I really enjoy it when I come across a person who has a name that I know a song about. And Lorena is not quite there, but it's so close to an incorrect version of Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun, performed by the guy who played Artie, the strongest man in the world from Pete and Pete. And he says, "Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away Lorraine?" Which is not quite the same as Lorena. How do we do this? Do we have the, this one? Do we get the Bowie cam? Bowie man! Boy bear! What are you doing? Bowie! Hi! Bowie! Hi! What are you doing, buddy? Hi, bear! No, it's not the Macarena. Although I do have a certain kind of fondness for songs that just list lots of people's name. That's a time-honored tradition. Hi, bear. Okay, listen. We have a... Oh God! Don't say the C word. Bowie gets incensed. Bowie's outraged. Look at that. Something. Fortunately, he can't read. Bowie likes to lose his tiny mind when we're out in the street and someone calls him the C word. Hates it. Not the Australian C word, Grimbone. A different C word. Anyway, this is all distractions. We're like 15 minutes into the stream and we have not even talked about our actual purpose here. Because if you notice from the title, this is not a blobs stream. And basically I don't even know, basically all I did last year when streaming Sudoku was stream blobs puzzles. And this is not a puzzle by blobs. However, it is a puzzle created by a person that was created by blobs. So in a certain way, it's like blobs once removed. I've realized we've got to set this. I don't really know what to look for here. We just want to pick a new and exciting, just browse. What's new? That's cute. Look at this. Nice ribbons. Let's just go with this. It's charming and simple. So the puzzles we're looking at today were created by a human being who was created by blobs. And that being is known as Sho. And so we will do some puzzles today, which I'm excited about. This is Blobs' offspring, the offspring of Blobs. It's kind of like an old monster movie, you know? You'd have whatever. Bride of Frankenstein's Wolfman, Dracula, whatever. Yes, this is a human created by Blobs, which is very exciting. So, this is the first puzzle in the series of puzzles by Show, and we'll just tackle a few of them. I'm not going to stream for too long today. I'm trying to get back into it. If you don't stream for a while, it starts to feel very daunting. You know, it feels like there's an emotional toll. But let's do this puzzle. So, 6x6, thermometers, black crockies. My favorite thing about 6x6 puzzles is that I'm terrible at them, even though they're supposed to be easier, because I always forget that there's only 6 digits. Like, these are just 6s, right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's minimum 5, but it's not 5, 7, or 9. It could be 8s, actually. No, it couldn't be 8s because it's a 6x6. See, I almost did it. I almost did the very thing that I said I was going to do. Very accurately predicted. I don't know. See, according to Blobs, I don't actually know how this happened. I mean, I don't know what the special rep is. I don't know if like Sudoku is a recessive gene that only some of your offspring will get. It's hard to say. Might have the recessive Sudoku gene. So, what are we doing here? I mean, these are limited because they're 5 and this is a 6, right? So how will this work? And they don't have 3 on them. Here at least. And obviously this isn't a 3. So these just must be 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Is that a reasonable statement? Or this mini goth because it only has the black crockies? So are 6 and 3 goth numbers? Does this seem right? I'm not giving this the full weight of my attention. I apologize. See, that makes sense. That adds up, I think. Wait, how could anyone hit? So I will say, hating Sudoku is fine because Sudoku is terrible. Variant Sudoku is great. So I could understand like disliking Sudoku because Sudoku is just tedious and boring. But variant Sudoku is great. It's so good. Okay, this is very cute. What are we doing though? How do we solve this puzzle? I don't feel like I should be this bad at 6x6 puzzles. It just somehow breaks my brain. Like it doesn't really make any sense. Like why would I struggle with 6x6 puzzles? I feel like we got the gist of it though, right? We feel like we're comfortable with stating that the gist has been gotten. Maybe. I think there's going to be a 1 here because that sees every number in the universe. And this sees every number in the universe. Doesn't it? And this is going to be a 5-6 pair, and this is going to be a 5-6 pair. And this is going to be like what? 2-4? 2-4? Is that true? Do you make tedious and boring? For me, there's nothing worse, and it's kind of heartbreaking, is when you do a good puzzle and it's great and you really enjoy it, but then half of the grid is still empty and you have to do Sudoku to wrap it up. It's really a sad story. It's a very heartbreaking, really. Heartbreaking affair. What are we doing? Where's the 1? 1's here. We presumably have a 3 and a 6 in here. And a 5 and a 6 and a 5 and a 6. And, oops, that's a 6, I said. And we have a 3 and a 5 in here. And we have a something. And we have a something. And we have a 2 and a 5. And we have a 4. And we have a 6 up here. And that leaves us with a 1. We'll show that was lovely. And it was a lovely little, it was actually more constrained than it seemed at the beginning, right? Like this was fun. And if you are unlike me and you realize that the 6 is forced and you don't even consider 8s, that was very quick to happen. And then the fact that these 3s saw their like sibling lines gazed upon them. Very charming. Thank you. Okay, Lorraine, I want to just take a moment to look at this chess puzzle. If that's not you, feel free to skip it. Oh, come on. Nothing special. I like the how it's heavy on the right side. Although the 8 Sudoku, if I'm bad at, I can't even do 6 Sudoku. How am I possibly going to do 8? Okay, I will definitely look at this, but today is a show day. It's showtime, as I always say. I've never said that. Oh wait, there's a YouTube link? I'm sorry. See, I can't properly pay attention. I can barely pay attention when my attention isn't divided. What is this? Oh no, I don't want to watch an advertisement. Bong cloud opening. Okay. Yeah, but then
we have this incredible pairing, Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura in the very last run. Usually we would be going crazy for this pairing, but knowing that all this craziness is happening with the qualification, it's kind of what? And Magnus goes, Kingi, don't do this, don't do this.
And Hikaru laughs. And King E7.
King E7 finally, and now King E2 draw. King E2, King E7 draw or what?
Hikaru, Peter, he can't stop.
This is cracking each other up. That's adorable.
I have to say, it's kind of nice to see these two players having a laugh like this. We've seen them fight it out, and we've seen them. Who can forget the Magnus Carlsen chess tour final? We've seen some epic battles between the two. This one is it's just a joke.
Oh, chess nerds. Adorable. Okay, we're gonna go show puzzle number 2. Shodoku, Wacky Regions. This is the full-size grown-up puzzle. Okay, are we ready for this? Each region, column and row must contain 1 to 9. That's fine. Okay, and then black crocky dots. That's cute. This is a lovely arrangement. Bowie's not interested in this. Bowie Bear. Hey, Bowie Man. Bowie. Hey. Bowie's over it. See, Bowie hates this. Not interested. Sometimes Bowie's interested. Okay, is it true that we just have a bunch of givens? Or is that not true? Is there a trick here? Seems like we get some freebies, which is very kind. Unless there's something, am I missing something? Is this not a true statement? Suddenly suspicious. I mean, that's got to be, we kind of have run very low on digits that this could possibly be, right? This really only can be the 2 or the 8 because we have a lot of our other black crocky digits here. The 8 would demand a 4. The 2 could also demand a 4, but could demand a 1. There's no 1 in the region. Oh, I like that. I'm a big fan of that kind of thing, where you've got one side of a crocky that's forced. I think a precocious, let's say a precocious youth, but I don't have details. Okay, that's very charming. We get that. And then what do we do? So we've got some 1s lurking around, doing one-like things. Do you have a 1 swimming around here? 1 sneaking around in the darkness. So we've got, let's think about these. I like these crocky boundaries, but I'm going to do a bad job of remembering what is available in them. Like the 1 and the 1 here are going to mean that 2 is not a friend. The 4 is, well, 2 is not a friend. Could have a 2 this way with the 4, going that way, presumably. I'm going to do the lame thing that I always do. And we're going to just pencil mark these things while we think about them. 1 is just never allowed. 8, 8 is removed from the options, but that doesn't really do anything. Taking the 6 off, however, we'll take the 3 off of the other side. Taking the 4 off of this side, we'll take the 2 off. That just lets the 3 go to 6, or the 4 go to 2 or 8. We have the 9 there. You have no 2-ness going one direction. You're more restricted, actually. This person is very restricted. It's got to be the brother of this digit. It's the only crop key digit that's left. 2, 8. So that is the 8, the 2. That's probably really how you're supposed to look. That's very elegant, and I missed it entirely. I apologize. This is going to be a 5, 7, 9 triple. The 9 and the 5 are going to be problems. Problems for us. Wait. Okay, first of all, you've been auto-modded for using the word sperm, which I don't... is that I'm going to permit that. I think that is a permissible? Let's say permissible word. This person also is under heavy scrutiny. Did I say something wrong there? No, I didn't. We really do have one, two. We had everything. I think that was fully limited. Did I tell the truth there? Or was I mistaken about that? It's got to be the 2, 8 because there's only the 5, 7, 9. Yeah. I believe myself when I say that. This person needs the 5, 7, 9. It also needs the 1, and it also needs the 8. The 8 is not up here, however, or here. 8's here, but that's 2 different boxes. I don't know how to pencil mark that. 1 has some leeway. So this fella is not quite as restrictive in this little tower, this little party tower. I'd say I'm like kind of at a I haven't done this in a while. I'm having a hard time finding where to jump in. We do obviously have an 8 here, and this is the other half of the 5, 7 pair. And with the 5, 7 pair, we're going to end up with that's our like no-go crop key digits. So over here we have kind of whatever crop key digit, except for 1, 2, or 8 are forbidden. So that is only 3, 4, 6. Is that right? Because there's no 1, no 2, 3, 4, 6. Can't have the 8. 3 wants a 6 here certainly, and 6 wants a 3 here certainly. 4 can't have a 2 here, but could have an 8 here. So that'll be fine. By the way, right in front of my face, that's an 8. Good grief. You have these elegant little things that are handed. Wait, sperminant? A sperminant band? Band? Ban. 3, 4, 6. 3, 4, 6 is just all that's not true. What else is missing? The 2, of course. Of course. 2 is a forbidden person here. So the 2 is just placed, right? This 2, I don't remember why we couldn't have this 2. Because we couldn't have 1 or 4, that's why. And this 2 is forbidden by this. And this 2 is forbidden by this 2. So that really is just a 2. So this is a 1 or a 4. And then this is just part of the 3, 4, 6 trifecta. A little triple. This is not going to be 3 or 6, however, because both of those are forbidden, as is the 8 for the 4. So I think it has to be 4, 2. We've got all these low fellows in here. We have most of our crop key digits, in fact. But over here we get the 3 and the 6, as well as the 3 and the 6. And what? We got a lot of 6s, is what we have. Hundreds of them. But do any of them see, like this 6 peeks around. it feels like one of those things where all the 6s are spoken for. Yeah, like here. No, this could be a 6. And this could be a 6, but these can be 6s. So never mind, forgive me. Well, yeah, nobody wants that. No one wants to be surpassed by their own children. That would feel like, what parent could ever want that? This is very fun, and this is a very interesting puzzle. And I see, Show, unfortunately, you have to learn the painful lessons that Blobs has learned is that when I solve puzzles on stream, I do so in only the clumsiest possible manner. Like just stumbling through. Complete embarrassment. So let's think about these Kropke, since I just can't seem to focus on anything. Somehow this grid shape has hypnotized me. I really am tempted to color it for just no reason at all. However, this feller here, of our complement of Kropke capable digits, it does not allow a 1. It does allow a 2, which would have to have a 1 here, which seems okay at the moment. It does not allow a 3 because a 6 can't go next to it. It does not allow a 4 because a 4 is there. It may allow a 6. It doesn't allow a 6. And it doesn't allow an 8. So I think it just is a 2. Did I actually properly forbid those? Well, yeah, because we can see from this that this is either 1 or 8. It's just 1, because it couldn't have been the 8, because that would have to be 4. So that's probably an easier way to think about that. So we do need an 8 in the neighborhood, and it's not up here. And then we just end up with the 5, part of the 5, 7, 9 triple, with the 9 visible and the 5. So we get a 5, 7 pair, and we place a 9. Is that our first first 9 that we've come by honestly? Good honest work. Oh, Show, if you're watching this, congratulations on your setting. Do keep it up. I expect great things from you. I mean, there's one of my favorite, this is a country music digression, country and Western music digression. Hank Williams Sr., obviously one of the all-time greats. Hank Williams Jr., early in his career, was basically just kind of emulating his dad, although he would sing songs about like living in the shadow of his father, right? Hank Jr. is like singing about like living in the shadow of a big man. And then later kind of finds his own voice and sings a song Family Tradition, where he still is kind of carrying on his, the family tradition of getting drunk and singing all night, but in his own way. And so Show, you have this similar issue where you're in the shadow of a great setter, and you're just going to have to do like Hank Jr. did and play at honky tonks all night. I don't think there's another solution, unfortunately. Okay, I think we've addressed all of our Kropkes, right? So now we have to just actually think, and nobody wants to do that, like think about anything. The 3's here, this 3 is cornered. This 3 is locked away. And then of our Kropke-esque digits, we've got to get an 8 crammed in here, and then we have the rest of the 5, 7, 9. It feels like we may know enough about 3's to do some damage. Like actually place all of our 3's in all of our regions. Does that seem true? Maybe not quite. I mean, 3 in this box is down here. It's not there. So 3's there or there. And then the other person who needs a 3 it's not going to be there. The 3 is going to be in here, and it's not there nor there. Oh, nor there. Okay, so there's our 3, 3, 3. And if we just go up our little tower of 3's, what happens? There's no 3's in any of these neighborhoods. Oops. Oh wait, did I break the puzzle already? Oh, I broke the puzzle. Show! What did I do? I broke the puzzle. How did I break it? I need a 3 in this row, right? Of course I do. Oh, this is very exciting show. It's the first time I've broken. This is, wow. What a milestone. I break Blobs' puzzles all the time. It's kind of a hobby of just like carelessly breaking the puzzle because I'm just talking too much. And I've broken this puzzle. Did I just break the puzzle just now, or did I break the puzzle at some earlier date? This is a difficult lesson, I'm certain, to like, it's a lesson every young person has to learn, is that I will break their puzzles by not paying invisible givens, where I just can't see digits that were already placed there. It's probably what I've done, right? Is like okay, what is the actual situation here? Am I already broken? Like, have I already destroyed this puzzle? That'd be, oh wait, there was a 3 right here. Oh my gosh, that's what you mean by invisible givens. The fact that there was a 3 in front of my face. So maybe I didn't break the puzzle, I just thought I broke the puzzle? That's funny. You can't expect me to see digits that aren't blue, can you? I mean, that's not, I can't, that's ridiculous. I don't think it's possible to see digits that aren't blue. But if I didn't personally place it there, why should I trust it? Okay, that was a very silly thing. Maybe I didn't actually break the puzzle, and the puzzle's just correct. Happens to all of us. That may be true, but it's especially embarrassing, you know, when you're recording. At least Bowie wasn't looking. Bowie didn't see that happen. So I didn't actually break the puzzle. So I apologize, show. You will have to wait for me to properly break your puzzle. Bowie. Hey, Bowie, I didn't break it. Bowie, the puzzle's not broken. Hey, Bowie. Bowie man. Bowie bear. Are you serious? Bowie? Bowie, are you okay? Really not interested in being on camera. Bowie's extremely not interested in watching me solve puzzles. Fine. Okay. So yes, the 3s were here the whole time. What an embarrassing debacle. We do need to place a 6 in this land, along with the 5-7 pair. Annoyingly, 6 is still allowed in some of these places. I wouldn't allow a 6 any of these places. One upstairs, which may be a possible thing that we could have. Why can't I do this puzzle? We need a 6 up here is the thing we need. We need a 1, 6, 7, first of all. And the 6, so 1, 6, 7. The 6C is you. So we know 6 is over here in this land. So this person does have a 6. And then 6 is not in this neighborhood, nor this neighborhood, nor we have established in this neighborhood. So 6 is here. 6, 6, 6, 6. Downstairs, what happened? But there's no 6s anywhere in this whole puzzle. But 6s, yeah, we did place 6 there, the 6 there, the 6. This just needs what? This is the 5-7 pair, which we don't really know anything about 5s or 7s at this point, do we? Presumably this 5 will bail us out eventually, or this 5. How far? Oh, in my blobs? I think I have, well, sometimes it's hard to say. At a certain date, I had done every blobs puzzle. Blobs also, I've been testing for blobs, so I'm even like beyond the Logic Masters, but blobs publishes a new puzzle to Logic Masters every Monday. And so there may be some in there that I like missed or skipped accidentally. So I do need to go and like verify this. It's a moving target. And now, you know, if we're viewing like Blobs' body of work hierarchically, shows puzzles are in that hierarchy. And so I now technically have to solve all of these, and this goes all the way down the family tree into the future. What were we talking about? We're talking about 6s is what we were talking about, and we were just not really saying anything very interesting about them. Why is Firefox dumb? I don't like that. Don't do that. Even if I don't, I feel like if I don't even go fully up to the top of the screen. Anyway, 6s are not in there, nor there. But 6s, I don't know, I just feel like 6s are not the thing to be talking about. What do we talk about? We do have 5, 7. We do need a 1 in here. Ones, it feels like we should know more about ones. That's a feeling that I have. But it may be all wrong. I mean, maybe the other half of this should not be this complicated. We need 1, 5, 7 in here. 5 will see part of that. Just to fill in this little wiggly worm in here. What do we need? 2s would be nice. I didn't really feel like 2s were very prevalent. Well, no. We've got a 2. Great. Okay, 2's not there because of this person. Not there because of this person. So 2 is there. So how are we doing on 2s? We want a 2 up here somewhere. Seems to not be in any of these places. Seems to be there. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. 2 doesn't live here, nor does it live here, nor does it live here, and nor there. There was an invisible given up here again. Is that true? Do I need to start a dynasty of mediocre puzzle solvers? I'm not sure if the world needs that. Like we need 4, 7, 8 here, I'm told. The 4 is not here. Either not tremendously useful. I mean, 8 sees this person. So 4, 7, 8. The 4 is seen down here, and the 8 is seen here, but that doesn't do a tremendous amount. We do need a 9 in this land, though. Is not 9s? Let's think about 9s, perhaps. How do we want to do that? 9 is down here because of this person. It means 9's not there. Okay, 9s are... I mean, 9's obviously in here, right? Because it just can't be anywhere else in this neighborhood. So with 9 here, 9, 9. One of these people is 9. 9, 9. That means, what does that mean? Where's 9? 9? Yeah, I think there was like a meaningful deduction there, but I've lost the thread. I am the world's foremost expert on blobs, certainly. What would I say are the main characteristics of blobs' style? That's a little tricky. It's a tricky one. Like when I think about like the where blob shines, and this is going to sound like a thing that everybody does, but I truly think it is a special skill of blobs is the tertiary constraint. The like a series of puzzles where there is a foundational set of 2 constraints, and then there is a tertiary constraint that totally changes the nature of the initial constraints. And it maybe in some cases it's really a secondary constraint, but like the thing, to me, my all-time favorite series of puzzles are the yin-yang sightline puzzles, where there's a foundational rule set that is common through all the puzzles, where basically like the first paragraph of rules, maybe there's some exceptions here, but basically the first paragraph of rules, identical for all of them, with the yin-yang sightline rules, and then there's another rule set on top of that. And that's, I don't want to say too much because there may be some things coming in the future that are in that realm, but this idea of like, which I guess ties to another thing that I really admire in puzzle creation, puzzle authoring in general, is this idea of like, come up with a system and then explore all angles of it. And Blobs, I think, has done that over time very well by revisiting certain sets of constraints, like a great many of Blobs' puzzles. If you just pick a random one on Logic Masters, there'll be a link to 8 other puzzles that follow the same basic idea, like the Pentomino series or whatever, where it'll be like, if you like this puzzle, if you like oil and water, whatever, here's all the puzzles that are variations on that theme. And so often the variation on the theme comes from some like novel interaction. And so I think it is like the ability to like really mine meaningful, interesting logic out of a lot of variations on a very similar set of rules, and to, well, I guess in both cases, in some cases, just aggressively do that all at once for a rule set. Like I think the March puzzle set, yeah, the March puzzle set is already out. I can't remember exactly which one that was though, because I've done too many. Was that the Nurikabe puzzles? Anyway, great example of that is in like a tight framework is some of the puzzle rule sets that, like the Nurikabe rule set or Yin Yang sightlines. But the difference between the Nurikabe was like a very focused exploration of Nurikabe, whereas Yin Yang sightlines has been this long, like months long, years long exploration. The other thing is that both of Blobs' like narrative puzzles series, the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings ones, there aren't many. I think there's been some like clever, certainly many puzzles that have like a clever story within them, but as sort of like a saga of puzzles with a narrative that carries through, I think not a lot of versions of that I've seen beyond Blobs. Juggler, well, hello. Wait, are you trying to be a Blobs impersonator? I don't know. Should I advise this? I feel like I'm giving you instructions. I'm incapable of dealing with anything without some kind of musical simile. One day I will set a musical Sudoku. I have it in my mind and I can never get around to it. Juggler, it's very nice to see you. Hello. We are solving puzzles by Show, a human that was created by Blobs. That's unfair. The human was co-authored by Blobs. Obviously, Blobs' spouse had quite a bit to do with it. So it is very unfair of me to say that. I will say it is a collaboration between two people. Show is a collaboration. Show is a collaborative effort. But the Sudoku genes appears to have, recessive or not, appears to have manifested here. So, okay. Sorry, Show, for getting distracted, but I just can't help it. I just want to talk about how much I like Blobs puzzles. It's one of those things where it's hard to, because I have an infinite amount to say, but I've kind of done too many that it's hard to really distill. I think, like, I will say another thing about Blobs puzzles is they are, with maybe like one or two notable exceptions, are extremely gettable. They're like very, very gettable puzzles. And almost without exception, anytime I've had troubles with a Blobs puzzle, it's been because I have missed something very obvious and then I have come up with some enormously complicated way to get to it. The one exception to that I would maybe say, that I would say if I was going to pick like the Blobs puzzle that, I don't want to say least favorite, but like the Blobs puzzle that I maybe struggled with in a very un-Blobsian way is the two pinball puzzles, especially the first one. And I even still to this day kind of feel like I just didn't get something about it. Both of those, in fact. But other than those two, having done dozens or scores or hundreds of Blobs puzzles, see, these have very high rating and they're not even marked as that hard. In fact, I kind of feel like these have had sort of a renaissance. Well, this is a 4-star. I kind of remembered this having a lower rating at some point. But anyway, this puzzle, I really struggled with it. This one I found a little easier, which is probably why it is easier with like lower stars with higher rating. Oh man, I'm so good. Sometimes I find so especially in like doing test solves, I think it's fair to say this. There's no secrets revealed, but I have been test solving for Blobs and recording those solves for Blobs to review, but then I'm offline and there's like no help or support. And if I just miss something, I can very easily turn a 15-minute puzzle into a 115-minute puzzle because I then come up with some enormously complicated way. That said, I do take a sick pleasure sometimes from finding like the most complicated route possible, because sometimes you find, and it's bad, it's not good, but I sometimes take sick pleasure from like finding like truly ludicrous logic to get through a puzzle where it is not required. Ooh, Juggler, I would love to look at that puzzle. Today, this is Shodoku. This stream is only Shodoku. But I always want to do new Juggler puzzles. I think, yeah, 15 minutes. Well, the thing, and that was actually a thing that came up when I was doing some testing for blobs, was like, and this is maybe a good characteristic of blobs, is like, how do I want to put this? Very often when there's a rule set described, like a set of rules described in a blobs puzzle, that is the thing that will get you through the puzzle. Meaning not that, oh, there's some rules over here, and then there's just like some really complicated, there's a moment where you just run into like deeply complicated Sudoku. And that I think does happen sometimes with other solvers. And I won't even say it's a bad thing. It's just a time where it's like, okay, I'm following the rules and I'm using the constraints. And then there's a moment where it's like, oh, there's just like a tricky bit of Sudoku here that I need to do. That, you know, if I'm being uncharitable, can sometimes kind of feel like a little bit out of the spirit of the puzzle. That's a thing that's come up in doing some test solves for people before sometimes, is where it's like, oh, this deduction that's like, you know, 80% of the way through the puzzle wasn't even that it was a bad step, you know, like a bad deduction. It just felt very, I don't know, incongruous with the rest of the solve. Like where yeah, I'm struggling for an example, but if it was sort of like, okay, I have rules over here that, you know, like this is a Kropke puzzle, and I get through 90% of the puzzle by doing Kropke, and then suddenly there's just some very complicated other thing that is only used one time, and it's the only diversion and all the rest of the puzzle. No, Gwen, hello. Hello. Oh gosh. A raid. I was just talking about Sudoku. Hello. Getting distracted. Hello, everyone. Oh, thanks so much for the raid, Ruffles. Well, now I'm embarrassed because I was just ranting and I don't remember what I was talking about. Everyone who's joining this, we're doing Puzzles by Show, who is a human that was co-created by blobs. And I apologize heavily earlier for saying a human that was created by blobs. Obviously, that is a collaborative process. And that was very unreasonable of me. At least I talk about Sudoku. I mean, Ruffles, a little earlier we were looking at CNC milling machines. So I don't know, maybe this might be my most on topic. I mean, if we could go back and look at those milling machines again, I'm very close. Or we could talk about the guillotine I'm building. I'm building a musical guillotine, and there's a solenoid, and as you play music, the solenoids will release and kind of like flip up, and then each of these there'll be 5 of these that will release a guillotine, which I'm only using to chop vegetables. What else would I use a guillotine for? Certainly not advocating for, I don't know, chopping off the head of oligarchs or something. I'm talking about a way to chop your cucumbers and your radishes. Only. That's all I would talk about. Anyway, okay, I apologize. See, this is what happens. Show you're learning some hard lessons today. Okay, wait, okay. Not your personal cucumbers. I would never... I would never presume to make decisions about slicing other people's vegetables. Maybe we should solve this puzzle. I've just forgotten how to do Sudoku, unfortunately. It's a very unfortunate thing that has just happened. I'm kind of interested in some things like this, the 1 to 7. So, okay, let's get back into this. This has been an interesting and fun puzzle, and I am ruining it by getting immensely distracted. So I'm going to try to focus. Chat, I'm going to ignore you for just a moment. Gotta forgive me, but just for a sliver of a moment, I'm going to try to get my head. Obviously, we need the other half of the 5-7 pair. Obviously, we need a 4. And the other digit we need, no one's ever even heard of. It's an 8 is the other digit that we need, which is here. Okay, well, this is... 8's not here. So 8 is here, which places the 8 here, right? Is that a fair statement to say? Like 8's... No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 8's here. 8 is here. I think what I just said was backwards. But 8 is here, right? Because 8's not going to appear here because of this. So 8 is here. So 8 is explicitly not here. Yeah, but 8 could still be here, right? Never mind. That was a foolish statement. We do know things like this. These digits are all over here. That's the thing we should probably think about, right? Not the 9, but the 4 and the 5 are definitely over here. That's a true and undisputed fact. That the 4 must be here, so the 4 is not here, so the 4 is here. But what does that mean to anybody? It means the 4's in here. But I think we sort of knew that. Let's just think about 4s for a minute, maybe. Maybe we'll place a 4. Who knows? Feels like I don't know anything. I've suddenly gotten very embarrassed because I feel like I'm doing a bad job. Ooh, is that a good idea? Do I need to turn on dashedness? Read chat suggestions. I would never do that. Wait, pay attention to what chat is saying? I could never. At least I haven't placed any wrong digits, right? Or have I? I mean, I think we are saying there's a 4 here. For whatever that's worth to anybody. We do know a 6 is here. We were doing okay by doing sort of little explorations. Like, for example, 6 in this cage is not there or there. So I think we place a 6 here. And then I think that's our final 6 in the whole universe, isn't it? No, we get a 6 here. We get the other half of that pair. And then our final 6 in the whole entire universe is here. Is that true? And the 4 here. And then this is the, not a 6, by the way. This is the other half of the 1-7 pair and also the 9. But none of those people are here, the 4, by the way. Do we know all our 4s at this point? We're getting very close to just total knowledge of all 4s. Like some kind of esoteric foreknowledge. 5, what other digit is missing in here is a 1. And this is 5, 7, 8. Here's 7, by the way. So what are you? 9? You're the other half of a 5-7 pair, but nobody. So you're 5-7-8 triple. But the 8s. You're the other half of the 5-7. You're part of a 5-7-8. The 8s live in the fringes. You seem to be a 4. Have I made a mistake? Are we finally? Oh, is this the moment that we unfurl all of our 5s and 7s? I don't know what I would do with or without chat. Is how I mean, the thing is, so here's the deal. I like to pretend and blame, like, oh, when I'm recording, which there's some truth to this that I will stand by, that when I am recording or streaming, very specifically streaming, like some percentage of my brain is dedicated to like looking at chat over here, making sure the mic's okay, all that, like some percentage of my brain power is dedicated to other processes that make me extra bad at Sudoku. Like, it's well established, I am incapable of doing basic arithmetic when streaming Sudoku. To a degree that is astonishing. Like the most basic arithmetic, I just cannot do it. It's amazing, yeah. But here's the thing. I've been recording offline videos for blobs, and the problem didn't go away. So even not having chat there, maybe it's just when I solve and verbalize. One of the weirdest things is I have accidentally solved a puzzle offline for blobs and then did a recording of it and had no memory of solving it offline, because somehow like verbalizing my way through a puzzle is so separate of a solve that I had zero memory of the solve path, which is really weird. And I guess, you know, maybe part of that truly is something like when I'm not streaming and I'm solving a puzzle, it is a non-verbal process. Did I break this? What's going on here? Who are we missing? 5 is who we're missing. It's a non-verbal process, and when it becomes a verbal process, something different happens. Something different occurs. The 1 is over here. Of that I'm convinced. It's not there. So you seem to be a 1, and the 7's the 7. So we're just picking people off at this point. I was about to make a comment on scanning, and then I did a bad job at scanning. You want to be a 9 now. That does seem to be true. You want to be an 8. But then we've got this situation. So who are your brothers? The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just the 7, it would appear. And then over here we just need a 9. Love it. Sure, that was great. That should not have taken 40 minutes. That was just me talking too much. There is a thing. So to that point, Lorena, thanks everybody. I can definitely have an issue with focus. And for several years, the way I countered that was by streaming. Because it would make me just sit in my chair for a few hours and work on something. And obviously the reduced brain power and other distractions and whatever make it not the most effective approach to working, but it's, you know, as an alternative to just like pacing around my house, unsure of what to do with myself, it was better that way. But something that would happen repeatedly is that I would be stuck on some programming problem that seemed like it should have been trivial, but I'd be stuck on it for half an hour. And then I would, as soon as the camera was off and I just looked at it for 2 minutes, would solve the problem almost instantly. It was kind of unreal. It was almost like a Star Trek thing where all the power is diverted to the shields or something. It was like some part of my brain, and it's embarrassing because then it's just like, oh, I was just making an absurd mistake here. And it should have been incredibly obvious, but my brain was occupied. So I don't know, double-edged sword. Wait, did I forget? Wait, what did I do? Oh, wait, you told me to place that digit, and then I managed to place it as the last digit. That's amazing, incredible. Yes, I definitely did it on purpose. It's a funny thing on that, Raffles, I don't know, there's a way to, I don't know how to put this without sounding kind of like a jerk, but I think that there are certain things that if you do them, it's hard to enjoy them recreationally. And I think the Zachtronics games, in theory, you would think I would like, but I don't like pretend programming. And I don't even say that as some inflated way, oh, I don't want to fake program, I'm a real programmer, but just where it's just it isn't fun. I don't take recreational enjoyment from it. Okay, we're gonna do another show puzzle. I'm enjoying these. These are very good. Well, so rubber duck, yes, this chat can be a rubber duck, or in my case, especially for the first couple of years I was streaming, an empty chat was my rubber duck because I was streaming to no one, except Grimbone. Grimbone was around sometime. But I probably scared off Grimbone while talking about Sudoku instead of CNC mills. Wait, why would your autocorrect want to say something inappropriate when trying to type rubber ducking? I actually never did try Infinite Factory. Other things I don't like very much, another thing, Mario Maker, as someone who makes game adjacent things often, just had no interest to me at all. Like games where you sort of pretend to make games. This is a beautiful grid. You're very heavy into the black crop keys, which I'm a fan of that. I like a well-used black crop key, or a well-used, or black or white crop key. The simplicity of a crop key used with the right rules is can be a very lovely thing. And the same for X, like XB, very simple rule set, but sometimes has really interesting implications. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful grid. Love it. I'm very excited about this. Okay, what do we have here? We have entropic lines, which is a favorite rule set of mine, and we have crop key. That seems nice and straightforward. So how do we want to think about this? So we need low digits. Sorry, not. Yes, we do. Sorry, I'm mixing up modular and entropic already. Entropic means we've got low people, middle-y people, and high people. I like to color low people such that they are red, which some people will say is insane. And I like to color high people as blue, but it does follow the rules of the visible light portion of the electromagnetic spectrum. So that's just how it is. And our middle digits will be green. What's funny about that, though, is that precludes, it doesn't quite actually. Interesting. How are we going to deal with this? Where do we go now? This person can't be low. It must be middle-y or high. So the middle-y or highness is going to put it there because it's adjacent to a low. This low is going to require a low to be here, which is going to be 1 or 3, right? Be good humans. Oh my gosh, hello, show. This grid is beautiful. Oh, hello. It's very lovely to meet you. Although I apologize in advance because I'm about to clumsily solve your puzzle and make a terrible mess of it. Hopefully Blobs warned you about what it really means to have me solve puzzles. Like a very like a almost aggressive level of ineptitude, like an aggressive ineptitude. But I'll do what I can. So what we were talking about? We were talking about some things like lowness, and we were talking about the fact that I like lows to be okay. I see heat. I realize I need to think about the crop keys that are on these lines, but are we done thinking about this one? I mean, we know a little bit here. The 4 would force, the 4 can't have a 2. The 4 would have to force an 8. 6 would obviously force a 3, which is okay at this moment, and then 8 would force a 4. So not an outrageous amount of information at this moment there. I do like this kind of thing. Oh, we have 2 of them, in fact. This is a forced sequence, but only in, it's like a unidirectional forced sequence or bidirectional forced sequence, in that it's always going to end with our extreme digits and then in the middle do this, right? Because that's the only way, like, I think that's the only way we can make this happen, right? 1, 2, 4, 8, and vice versa. Which does get a low digit, which doesn't quite break that though. I can't tell if someone is very perfectly clicking with heat directly on that black crop key. Kind of to an impressive degree, like very perfectly located. So I'm going to, as I tend to do, completely ignore where I should be looking. Right? Like that, because why would I do that? Now, the thing about this digit is we've got a lot of this also being a crop key digit, 3 being a member of the crop key family, does mean this has got a lot of crop key visibility. I really like also the regularity of that click. Like it's almost like it's like in The Great Gatsby, the green light at the end of Daisy's dock. And Gatsby just sees the green light, but the green light is sort of unattainable and unachievable and metaphorically represents this like ideal that's out of reach. So because of that, I'm going to ignore this. Because I learned the lesson of the Great Gatsby that you don't, when you perceive the green light, it's very bad. It's a very bad thing. Am I making that up? That is true. Is that you? Is that? You're doing a very good job. Like the clicking there is a very Gatsbyan. There's that famous cover. Is the green light represented in that cover? I can't actually remember that. The particular cover that everyone's seen, does it have the green light? Is the tear supposed to also be the green light? Do these eyes with the woman in them, that is kind of like a Matissean woman, do those also represent the eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg? Am I remembering the name Dr. T.J. Eckelberg correctly? I'm going to just pretend that this represents the green light at the end of the dock. I think the other thing, obviously, is that I saw a photograph of Sho using the Sudoku pad. So I can recommend it as a peripheral that just makes people want to set Sudoku, even though I'm not even using mine. Mine's even in the other room. I would probably do better if I had the Sudoku pad. Sho, I am glad someone on Earth cares about that, because I spent an outrageous amount of time on it. And it's one of the, I make all these things that no one cares about. Like this is my body of work is basically, I've made every kind of thing, that you can make, to no acclaim whatsoever. It's kind of my life's work is to just make things no one cares about. But occasionally, someone cares, and it's very exciting. So I was very touched that some human was excited about the Sudoku pad. I was pretty proud of it. I at least learned a lot in the creation of the Sudoku pad. Okay, so I keep getting distracted here. You're still, we've had this discussion before, right? How do I, cavalshed, how do I say it? What's the right pronunciation? Cavalry. Cavalshed. There's a funny thing that, like, the distinction between cavalry and cavalry, and sometimes people get them mixed up. One of them is like, some soldiers on horses, and one of them is where Jesus was crucified. And sometimes people mix them up in a way that's kind of entertaining. The Sudoku pad, it was a highly limited. I had some notion that, like, oh, maybe enough people would care about this that someone will want this, but no one cared enough. Maybe I'll make some more at some point. The thing that made it take so long is I was dead set on printing my own keycaps, because it costs, you got to pay money to have these printed. So I was like, I'm going to make my own. And I saved like $80 by spending, like, I don't know, 50 hours of work trying to get those right. Maybe not that much, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I could have paid $80, or I could have spent $800 worth of time instead. And so that's what I did. Okay, sorry, the distractions are mounting. We're thinking about Sudoku. That's all. We're just thinking about it. The thing that's kind of interesting that I was just thinking about, I know I need to look here. I really do know that, but I also refuse to. Because I'm more interested about this digit. This digit is interesting to me. First, we know it's not 2 or 4, just to talk about it. Let's just talk about this digit that I find interesting. It's not 3, obviously, and it's not 2 or 4, I think, which does limit it. And one thing actually that's going to be funny about all of these that are on the line is they're going to need to be, let's say, same thing's true here, right? That's not, no, it's not the same thing as true here. Same thing is almost true here. But let's talk about this one because it's a little more interesting. this couldn't be 1 because the 1 would force it to be adjacent to a red, and we'd have double baby digits. We'd have double red digits on an entropic line, which is completely unacceptable. So we know that this is a 3, or we know that this is a 4. So it is either one of these is middly. That's a thing I can tell you. Like either the 6 with the 3, it's middly low, or it's the 4 with the 8, which would make it middly high. Is that true? Should I kickstart those? If I could come up with a way to actually, like, it's not, the boards are pretty simple. It's not that complicated of a thing, really. It's just printing the keys is the hassle. Like, because I was doing it manually, basically. If I could come up with a really easy way to create all the keys, then that would be cool. That would be a cool thing to do. Okay, I want to think about this one too. Again, just refusing to look at the light on the what's going on over there? Boy, what are you doing? Hey, right there, what are you doing? Hey, can you say hi to everybody? Can you say hi? Hi. Are you awake? Hi, buddy. Keys can be bought. I know, but I want them to be custom, right? Because I had the hi. Oh yeah, big yawn. I wanted to, I wanted to have the right. How do I do this? Why do you keep? Not this. I wanted the custom keycaps for those things, so I could do it. I could do it. I just normally when you buy custom keycaps, you don't want a bunch of the same keys as a rule. People typically want a bunch of different keys. Okay, what are we doing here? We were talking about this digit, where it is also from the complement of Sudoku-ish digits, right? It's part of the Sudoku digit. The Black Crop Key digit family. We know it's not a 2-4. We're also going to say that it's not a 1, because a 1 would demand a nearby digit that was of the same entropic set. So, but in this case, we could have a 3, 6, or we could have 4. So we have it slightly more right because those are all acceptable things. I could get some stickers, that is true. Or I could get those, yeah, there are those cheap keys that are like plastic, clear plastic, and then you can put something underneath it. Or you could also just buy a macro pad that already exists in the world. But why would anyone do that? This is kind of interesting. I like these little people, because it's going to be one of each person. Do I want to think about this? I still refuse to think about this. Liari77, how's it going? In the blizzard of 77, the cars were just lumps in the snow. So here's the deal. This is going to have a low person, a middly person, and a high person. That is a true and undisputed fact. This also, we will have that. We're going to have, we needn't have any low people here though. Or we have 2 low people here. Did I actually do this correctly? I think I did. What is the nature of this person? You really want to be middly. You can feel it in your bones and my bones. Should we switch? We check on Bowie. I think Bowie's taking a bath. This might make this obscene. Bowie, are you having a bath? What are you doing? Hi. Okay, Bowie's taking a bath. This is a private affair. Okay, so the thing about this, 8. Well, it could be up there. What do we want to do up here? We definitely don't want to put a 6 here. Do we want to think about this? I really don't want to. Oh, look, they're both on the line. Did you know that? Did you know that these are both on the line and they're sane? So this should obviously be the place that we look. Caval Shed, did you notice that this is actually the place we should be paying attention to? Listen, here's the thing about entropic lines. If you skip 2 and say like, it's like a waltz. Ready? Like 1, 2, 3, 1. These will have the same entropy. I know that this is going to be new to some of you. So these will have the same entropy. The thing about that is, on a black crop key, you could have low digits with middly digits, and you can have low digits with high digits in one case. There's one pair. But in several cases, you can have low digits with low digits. And so I think we're going to do this. I think this is the thing to do. And you may disagree with this choice, but I think it is actually correct. Now, 3 can't go on here because 6 is not available, so we will end up with a 1-2 pair, which is very exciting. Yeah, who could have possibly guessed? The problem is I was having trouble seeing this part of the grid because there was this blinding green light that was like making me nostalgic for. Oh, I just almost. Somewhat related to that, actually, this is a thing I maybe shouldn't even mention, but I'm just making the connections here thinking about Great Gatsby. Someone that I was involved with a great many years ago and then was not in contact with for 15 years wrote me in January. And I wrote back. And then the person got mad because of the way I wrote back to them and says they don't want to talk. So anyway, whatever. It's all fine. It's just making me think a little bit about the Gatsby-Daisy relationship and how it's never good to do that. You shouldn't do that. Okay, so what are we doing here? We got some digits. We got 1s and 2s. We want to put a 2 over here, it would appear. Well, that was weird. I think I just hit the wrong button. You're not a 1, you're a 2. We want a 2 here. That I think we can all agree on. If we put a 2 here, I'd want a 1 or a 4. What do we want to do now up here? We do want to put a 2 down here. Right, if we put... Oh no, but you're highlighting the thing I was going to talk about and I want to ignore it. Well, now I have to ignore this. I'm going to go talk about something else instead. Here's the, okay, just a few observations. One thing is there's definitely a 2 down here. That's a reasonable thing to talk about. The other thing is, if this were a 1, this would be forced to be a 2, which would break this. So this is, oh, that's lovely. This is, what a fun little party that was. Did I do that correctly? Hard to say, but I enjoyed doing it even if it was incorrect. We do push the 1 up to the sky. So if you were a 2, you truly have to be a 4. Bowie, what are you doing, man? This was very fun. It's like a little waterfall. Bowie, hi, bear. Hi, buddy. He's doing a good job. He's a very good assistant. Okay, what are we talking about? Does anyone remember anything about anything at all? The thing that's going to just be fun about these period is all of our arrows are going to have common points, right? Like the points of our arrows are always going to be pairs. Entropic buddies, I should say. Entropic pals. And so, what does that mean? These are obviously not low, but it feels like it could still be blue because this could be 8 and this could be 7. Is that an acceptable state of affairs? Could be. Could possibly be. What did we do? We just like ate a giant hole out of the middle of this. And we have very few low digits. So what do we think that means? we really only have one low digit available to us. What are you gonna do? What's this person? This person just lurking over here. What are you doing? It's obviously not high, but that's not very surprising to anyone. I don't think. 2 over here. Oh my gosh, I see. Yeah, just don't. I don't know. Just can't. Are we having a similar problem over here? I see some highlighting going on. But again, I kind of just refuse to acknowledge it. This person's buddy is weirdly over here, right? This person's pal, the pal of this, that puts that does put this person, oh, I see. Is this what we're talking about? Or are we talking about something different? This person's pal is here. I keep mistakenly thinking of 4 as a low digit because I'm thinking of, I've done too many oil and water puzzles and too many German whispers. Not oil and water, German whispers specifically. Thinking of 4 as a low person, but 4 is a middly person. Anyway, okay, let's think about this. This fellow is partners with this fellow. If we were to make this fellow a 3, then this fellow would have to be a low person. This person would need friends in low places. And so, were we to do that, it would have to be 1. 3, 6. Well, that doesn't seem impossible. But if it was a middly person, then this would be a middly person. But again, it doesn't seem impossible. The 4 would be ruled out. But in that case, this would be an 8, and that would be fine. Am I ignoring this? Is that the problem? I'm ignoring too many things. Okay, I should stop ignoring this because I do appreciate the highlights. Ooh, oil and water is fundamentally offensive. As much as I love the oil and water puzzles, it's by my own. I think I've talked about this, but it's like a synesthesia thing where when you're dealing with oil and water puzzles, there's really 3 dichotomies you're dealing with. You're dealing with oiliness and wetness. You're dealing with evenness and oddness. And just by the virtue of the way Sudoku puzzles work, you're usually dealing with 2 colors as you color them. And to me, one, it's fundamentally offensive because to me, evenness is wet and oddness is oily. But that's not true. So even before we've dealt with the colors, we're in a bad situation. So then you want to color them. And it's like, well, it kind of makes sense to make the water blue, but blue is an even color, as everyone knows. But in that case, blue is an odd color. And everyone knows that orange is kind of like oily and odd, but orange becomes your even color. It's very difficult for me to solve those puzzles. I don't know what to do with it. The Oil and Water rules. Oil and Water is an incredible series by Blobs. I think Oil and Water rules were invented by Blobs. Is that true? Did Blobs invent the Oil and Water puzzles? Is this the OG? They're great. I love Oil and Water puzzles. It's just you have this problem. The premise is that oil floats on water and in cages evens floats on odds. Is the basic idea. That evens are always above odds in a cage. So for example, if you have a cage like, I don't know, what's a good cage? This cage, here's 3 cells summing to 20. We know it can't be all even because it takes 4 even to sum to 20, but we know the ultimate sum is even. So this cage would be 2 odd digits to give you an even, and then an even digit on top. So these would be wet digits, and then this digit would be oily. And in my coloring, these would be blue and this would be orange, but that means you've made an oily orange even digit, which is an outrage to me and continues to be an outrage. And if I didn't have such a fondness for Blob's puzzles, I don't know what I would do. Panic, probably. Oh, that Blobs is the inventor. I think that's a true statement. Blobs is the inventor of this curse of oiliness. Okay, yeah, okay, we're back to, yes, I realized. With flatmates, not that I recall, at least for like Blob, this, I'm not used to these Firefox shortcuts. It's the first time using Firefox because Chrome broke my Grease Monkey scripts. As far as like the canonical, I mean, this is called Blobs to Oil and Water. Oh, it says Blobs right there. I think like, at least on like the canonical list, I don't think there's flatmates in there. We've got skyscrapers, but if you are inspired to create a new oil and water combination, I think you should. Somebody else may have, other people have certainly set oil and water puzzles. Okay, we're already 20 minutes into this puzzle and I feel like I barely looked at it. Oh, if only someone were highlighting these though. If only there was someone like clicking on the places that I should be looking. But with no heat. Did heat break or did we just surrender? Okay, heat still works, just checking. Okay, what are we doing here? Does anyone have any idea? What do we know about anything? This person is not 1-2. Could be 2-4. Could be 4-8. I mean, it's not terribly restricted unless there's something that like eats out optionality from here. Oh, that is very cool. That is very interesting. Wow, that is what a lovely. Okay. Solve a bunch of them. Any tips? The only tip I can give you is that you will suffer because you have to wrap your brain around the idea that oiliness and wetness are even and odd respectively. It's heartbreaking. It's a devastating worldview. This is really cool. If this was an 8, what would, in fact, I should ask you, if this was an 8, what would happen in the world? If this was an 8, this becomes an 8, which seems fine. That's fine, no problem. If I put 8 here, this is 8. And then 8 comes to live up here. But this 8 refuses to allow it here, and the 8 is forced here, and 8 can only couple with a 4. But if we place the 8 here, the 4 is here, and they are incompatible people. That is really nice. So the 6ness here is demanded, and so the lowness here is a requirement. And then the 6ness is going to require some middliness here, right? And then we have our highnesses there. Is that a true statement? I think it is. 3 is going to get crammed over here. Did I do all that correctly or did I make a mistake? Boy, what's the matter? That is a good tip. That is true. So the first thing I do anytime I solve a oil and water puzzle is look for cages that have 5 cells. I think that is an excellent place to start because you always know the bottom of a 5-cell cage is wet. Also, anytime there's a 4-cell cage, it's very easy to know if it is even possible for it to be 4 even digits, just because the sum won't be, if the sum isn't 20, which is what 4 digits would be, 4 even digits would be, then you know that it's not even, is a handy thing. Okay, I really am doing an incredible job here. Do we think a 9 is here? I would put a 9 up here. I would put a 9 over here. Are we comfortable with that emotionally? The funny thing is, maybe that's not funny. Maybe that's not funny at all. The 9, you could still be 8, couldn't you? This person's brother is over here. That's okay. This is definitely not an 8. I don't know if anyone cares about that, but I kind of care about it. This digit's buddy is here. So it's actually not possible for the 8 to be there or there. But this digit's buddy is here. But if it was 8, it wouldn't be. I think that limits the 8s actually. I'm going to think about that for 1 second because that's an interesting proposition. 8 is certainly not there. 8, this digit's buddy is here. So this is not a high digit, so this is not a high digit no matter what happens in the world. That's obviously not an 8. But if I put an 8 here, then this person would have to also be a high digit, and that is not allowed because the 8 would have been taken and all that would be left is the middle. So that's also not an 8. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't actually tell me anything about anything, but I had fun. Wow, quite a compliment. No, the 0 to 8 is cool. Blobs and I had a discussion about that very thing, though, about the idea of a I don't want to spoil anything, but the idea of only allowing for 4 evens and 4 odds by some additional limitation. Okay, I realize that this is probably not where I'm supposed to be, but it's where I'm interested in being. We do know that we've got like our unallowed people, our 579s that are not allowed to be on Friends. Like this restricts us to the 1248 world because the 36 is excluded. That's also true here. That the 1248, the 3 means 6 is never here, right? So these are from 1248. There's obviously 1 is forbidden because we placed 1 up here. There's no 1 here. There's also no 2 here, and having no 2 here. Problem is you could still, the 4-8 still works, I think, because you could still 4 could have a 2 or an 8, or 8 could have a 4. Is that still? Do we feel like that's a requirement in the world? What are we doing? We said Jew or... What have we said? What did we say? We do seem to have forced a 1 somewhere and a 2. I see this. I see the incessant. So I guess we could kind of ask ourselves where this digit exists in here. That may not be the pertinent question. Also ask ourselves where this digit exists. Well, if it's a 1, it's got some leeway, right? 3, where's your brother? Oh, I see. If we make this a 1, it's sick. Oh my gosh. This is one of my signature moves. If anyone's taking notes and wants to be a solver like me, one of my signature moves is to make use of a piece of logic and talk about that. I have 2 signature moves. One of my signature moves is to make use of a piece of logic and talk about it and then completely forget about that for the rest of my entire life and not use it again, even though it's required. That's one of my signature moves. One of my other signature moves is to talk about something like, oh, if this were true, this would be true. And then later forget that I ever said that, like complete blank that I ever said it. But in this case, it's the former, where just like we talked about 1-2 would preclude this, 1-2 would preclude this. This cannot be 1. This is the 8, and we get our same little party, our little downstairs party happening, which is very fun. And in doing so, I think we place our 1 up here, right? Like the 1 was not allowed here. We also lose the 8 here. We lose the 4 here, which would have lost the 8 as well. But we still have a 3-4 possibility. This person's friend is here, by the way, we must recall. One mustn't forget. We have the 3 here. The 6, your buddy is here, as everyone knows. We do... So... We with our remaining digits, we know the 7 or 9 has to be here because it has to be a high-ish kind of person. The other digits that remain in this land, what's the 5? It's the 579. So this is kind of like part of 579 triple of the people that aren't allowed on black Kropke dots, the rejects. We do have to have a low digit over here, right? That is a requirement. And the only low digit we are capable of having over here at this moment is a 2. So we do place the 2. We get a 4-8 pair here. We do need 6 is forced over here, which is fine because the 4 and the 5 is there. So 6 is our middle digit, and then we just need a high digit, which is one of the digits of it's this digit is here. This digit is going to come hang out over here. Now the 4-8 here and the 4-8 here. What do we do about that? I mean, we certainly land with our 4s here, which if this is middly, it's not 4, right? So if this is middly, it must be the 5. We seemingly have placed 5 here, according to some, making that a 3-5 pair. So we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we just need 6, 7, 9. And then that just leaves a 2, right? 2 is just our leftover friend, meaning you are not a 2. You are a red fellow. I'm going to color these just for kicks. But what did that tell us? We know we do have another high digit to place, the brother of this. This digit does need to appear here. Oh, where? No one can say. Nobody knows. Oh yeah, I can't yet. My truly great, I call them side quests when I just go on some tangent that is totally unrelated to the kind of critical path of solving the puzzle, and just get excited for nothing, for no reason at all. So we know we have there's 2 high digits in here. 8 is one of those digits, but I don't know if we know anything about that at this moment. We may, in a interesting way. We convinced ourselves that 8 wasn't here for reasons no one remembers. But we did convince ourselves that 8 does not exist here. And 8 doesn't exist here. 8 doesn't exist here because we already have a high digit. 8 is not 9 usually. 8 is usually not 9. That means one of these 2 digits is 8. If this digit was the 8, this would have to be a 4, and it would be the middly fellow on the line. But that might be fine with everybody. Because this could be 8, this would be 4, this would be 2, and then this would be 8, this would be 4, this would be 2, this would be the high digit, which in this case would be a 7. Where is 7 in here? 7's never on a black Kropke, and 7's not on this line with the 9. We do have to have somebody be a high digit. So 7's up here in the sky doing 7 stuff, apparently. But there couldn't possibly be a meaningful deduction from that. There's just no way it could be. Do we know anything about anything down here? Or who do we want to think about? I mean, these people are sort of interesting, especially this one that is explicitly not a 3-6. But it is, we're not forbidden here to do certain things. We don't have a 2 here, which is a little bit restrictive. Should we think about that? Still have the 4-8. We couldn't though. Didn't we demand that the 8 go somewhere else? No, that was just on the bottom row. I tend to agree. I've really tried. It's the thing I've thought about for many years is like to sort of try to structure my life where I'm don't know exactly how to put it. I have different ways I've tried to put it, but it's like you follow the gravity of your curiosity, like just wait for some kind of pull to pull you things. I don't know if this is the most effective way to be a functional human, but I don't know what else to do either. Okay, what are we doing? Does anyone remember? We definitely want something to happen here. And the thing that happens here, could have a 4-8 though. The thing about this is it's certainly, okay. This is not an 8, right? Because if this was an 8, we've said that these are matching entropy. And that would be a bad situation to have 4 high digits. So that does un-8ify you. And this person would kind of struggle to be double red, but it wouldn't be impossible because we could put a 3. We could put a 3 here and a 1 or a 2 here. But if this was middly, what would that mean to the world? It kind of causes problems, actually. If, right, okay, this is interesting. If, right, these digits, brethren, are here. And if we aren't careful, we will force highnesses here. If we exclude the possibility of highnesses here, then it is a requirement that the highnesses will be here. It's a requirement that we have a highness here because we have forbidden highnesses here. So our highness is here. Does anyone believe me when I say that? Does that seem to be true? How convincing was that when I said that to you? Oops, 3, 1. Does anyone believe me? Cavalchet is convinced. Is the highness requirement related to... Oh, could be. Ellen Damasi, hello! Okay, Ellen Damasi, you're in for a surprise. This is not a blobs puzzle. It is a puzzle by Sho, who is a human co-authored by blobs, and who is in the chat with us. Unless Sho got too disgusted with Miss Low and ran away. So it is in the blobs family tree, but it is a non-blobs puzzle, which I know is outrageous, because it basically, I don't know if in 2016 I streamed any other puzzles except for blobs. Did I say 2016? Did I say 2016? I meant 2024. What year is it? I think co-authored is a reasonable way to state that, right? I mean, is that fair? I mean, some would say that, you know, the burden of the reproductive process is not exactly a symmetrical burden, right? So maybe co-authored is unfair. Assisted, Blob certainly assisted in the production of Sho, I think it's fair to say. But is assisted too diminished? It's very difficult. Is it one of the things where you have like the co-authors of a study, but you know, you have like the primary author? Maybe it's that kind of thing. Okay, I feel pretty good about this, I think, which also puts some 3s up here. Which seems to be okay in terms of 6s. We do still have to deal with, we need 1 each of each person. We're missing one person each, some of which will be seen by their brethren. We do have to place the 6, we do have to place the 9, we do have to place the 2. The 6 and the 9 both see this, so that seems to 2ify you. And then this un-2ifies you, which seems to 2ify you. Is that true? Seems to be, which un-3ifies you, 3ifies you, 6ifies you, 9ifies you, 6ifies you. Do you believe me when I say that? You believe what I'm telling you, right? That's what Space... That's not the right color for that at all. It's what Space Ghost said to Bjork. He was lying. He was lying to Bjork when he said that. His wife, Bjork. So that's exciting. Which leaves us with only middly digits. Which I hope is okay. That makes us a double middly situation. with the 5 here, the 4 here, the 8 here. You must then, you're a red person. That forces the 7 here, I think. You're a red person. Oops. A red person, which forces the 1 here. I haven't quite broken the puzzle yet. It feels like I'm going to any moment now. Could happen any second. So, what are we doing? That seems okay, right? And then we just need the 9 here, and that's a blue person, and this is a green person. I feel pretty content with that. We do need a high person up here, which I think we've known for some time is the 7. I don't know why I was acting like that was a mystery, but I think that was a true and undisputed fact. Okay, feeling pretty good about our arrangement here. We seem to, looks like we've got a lot of low digits in this puzzle. I'm just going to color some things just to, there's a certain point where we like, I just look for colors, like fun colors when you're dealing with modularity or entropy, and just look for the color party. Look to be inspired by the color party. This is a valid arrangement. These little wingspans are still vexing. Is there a, we do know this is a right. Okay, this is a middly buddy, because if this was, it's obviously not red, obviously, and it's obviously not blue. So this is, I really like these little, what would we call these? A chevron? Is that the proper name for this geometry? Is that right? Appears to be. I like these chevrons. They have interesting implications. Why is my bitrate showing as 0? Uh-oh. That's not showing as 0. It's showing as a high number. I don't know why it seems like... I'm going to refresh chat. Sorry if you're talking and I'm missing things. Okay, here we are. So, what are we doing? We just did this, which forces this to be 6 and this to be 3, which makes you a red person. You're 5, you're 3, you're 9, you're 1. So this is a lovely puzzle. And then that would seem to indicate that you are high people. These are our highnesses, which are kind of limited. I mean, this is an 8, 9 because it's not the 7. This is 9 right here. It wasn't blue, so it was invisible. This digit was invisible. Oh no, was I getting compliments and I missed them all? That would be sad. Are we talking about a different compliment? Like a digitary compliment? Complementary digits. I'm going to pretend it meant compliment in terms of a nice comment. That seems to fortify you. And that seems... We don't know the 5 location. We have a 5-9 pair. Does anyone know about the 5-9 pair? I don't know. It does really limit the options here, right? To 3, 6, 8 as our party, with 8 being here. The 3 here, the 6 here, as this little... And you're a 2... Are you with a 1 or are you with a 4? Are you with a 1? That's not what I meant to do. Okay, you're a red people. You are a green fellow. You are blue. You're red. We've got lots of reds. Hundreds of them. But not all of them. We do know that the 3 is not part of the chevron, though. Which I think will force our hand in terms... Yes, our 3 will be placed here. So we have all of our low digits, it would appear. And then 5-itude. And 1 each. We need the 4 and we need the 9. Which don't appear to be forced yet. 4-9 pair? Wait, where's that? There's a 4 right up there. There's a 4 there the whole time and I missed it. Okay. We are... This is just all blue. This is all green. Do we know the nature of these? Not sure we do just yet. But what does that mean for... What does it mean for these people? 8. What are you going to be? It could be this digit, right? This digit could make an appearance here if it was 5 only. You're certainly not 5, 6 then. Okay, we're making this more complicated than it needs to be. We do place the 8 and the 8, which are blue, and the 4. And that's exciting. And then the 4 is going to end up here, which is going to do this. Is that true? 4 sees that. 4 sees that. 4 sees that. I think you're 4. So I think you're not 4. I think you're a different digit. But that does seem to do this. And that does seem to have a leftover green. So that is correct, that this digit is here. So I think those are 5s then. And that's a 6. Is that true? And you're a 9 and you're a 7? And you're a 9 and a 5 and a 7 and a 6. And you're a 5 and a 9. And you are the final 6. Nope, not done yet. You're the 7 and you're 9. Oh, that was great. What a lovely puzzle. Really interesting logic. Love these little, our little, what do we call those? Our little cascading kind of Kropke tetrominos. The way they leak down. So that sounds like an interesting constraint there, is like a rule constraint where gravity is force. I think there's been versions of that actually, now that I say that out loud. We'll finish coloring this. Okay, I'm about 2 hours in. Oh, thanks everybody. See, I think that Raina's trying to work on a spell. Some kind of blobs related spell. So I would be a little wary about giving too much information. So I really do need to go shortly, but I kind of want to do one more. How many have we done? Was that the 4th one? I'm going to look. No, that was number 3. Let's look at this puzzle and see if I can resist it. Orion's ratios. Building Sudoku dossiers. I should have known. Oh, wait. Is this actually Orion's belt? Is this actually Orion? That's amazing. Oh, finally we can lure in Astro Canuck and have a astronomy. Jojo, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate everyone hanging out. Okay, I can't resist this. How can I resist this? You know what's funny, actually? I will tell you, there's this funny thing. So my friend Wenna, who's now famous, so I will just name drop her. Wenna Liu of Connections fame. Ever heard of her? My friend Wenna, my good friend Wenna, who's famous. New York Times puzzle editor Wenna Liu, world famous puzzle setter, also known as my friend. Okay, forgive me. I just am very proud of her. We went to grad school together, and this was before Wenna was famous and was really interested. We both just would do crosswords all the time. And she was heavily, deeply into crosswords and actually would not even consider Sudoku, wouldn't even think about it. Like fiercely anti-Sudoku, in fact. Though I've been slowly trying to chip away and trying to get her to solve with me on stream. I think she's agreed to it, but that was months ago. And so, I don't know. I really will try. Anyway, one of the most amazing things I learned about her with crosswords was she had this uncanny ability to like put her brain, even before she was really setting a lot of crosswords, or constructing, as she would say, where she would kind of like be able to solve a puzzle that I wouldn't be able to solve, not because she really knew the answers, like knew the answers to the clues, but because she could put her head into like constructor mode and be a little bit like, I bet if X were true or whatever, they would have said it like this, whatever. And you see this on Cracking the Cryptic sometimes, right? Where Simon in particular, I feel like occasionally will try to solve a problem by thinking like a setter. In some recent test solves for blobs, there was something that I knew about the puzzle only because I felt like I had an understanding of blobs, and that for purely aesthetic reasons, blobs would only have done something if it was constrained in a certain way. I'm being deliberately vague because I don't want to spoil a release puzzle, but there was a deduction I made early in the puzzle, not because I actually had information, not because it was a reasonable deduction, but because it was like, if I know blobs, this is this way for this reason, and therefore I could deduce this line. I didn't do that because that would not have been a useful solve, like test solve, but it was like a Sherlock Holmesian moment, at least I had briefly, where I felt very proud of myself by a kind of blobs only deduction. Where has Bowie gone? Bowie, where are you? Bowie Bear, what are you doing, man? You don't want to be on camera anymore? Hey, buddy. Hi, man. Bowie Bear. Hey. Bowie. Hi. Bowie doesn't want to be on camera anymore. Bowie's over it. Okay, let's solve this puzzle, because I'm intrigued by Orion's belt. So we get a freebie, which is very kind. Wait, I should go here. This is a better place to solve the puzzle typically. Let's do this, and then let's put an 8 down here, and let's just take a quick lay of the land in terms of given digits. Do we have any friends? This is a chess puzzle also, by the way. It's interesting. It's an interesting way to move forward in a place that you're stuck. I wouldn't necessarily say that's good solving, but for example, a thing that happens to me in crossword puzzles, I definitely don't solve crosswords like I used to, but I used to do dozens a day because it was part of how I dealt with my commute into New York, and I would do speed solving. And I was very often stymied by especially in the New York Times puzzles, I feel like have greatly improved over time, but one of my enemy always in crossword puzzles is crossings of people's names, especially if it's two sports figures crossing or something, where I'm just basically doomed because it's I don't know these people, I don't know who they are, and sometimes you just kind of can't do that if it truly is down to just a crossing of two names you don't know. But when it would still be very good at figuring out oh, I think you'd want these letters here because you'd want these letters to be structured in this way. Anyway, it was a very interesting thing to learn that from her, and also to learn about the idea of crosswordese, like a vocabulary of crossword words that you would never see in real life, but only exist in crosswords. Okay, how shall we approach this puzzle? So this is a night puzzle. In addition to our goth dots, we have knights to contend with. So how do we want to think about this? My tendency, with blobs as drunken knights puzzles, I would just want to color every digit and see where they land, which makes sense with cages. Excuse me. American celebrity name. Oh, as an American, I just have to live with the sad fact that I will never be able to solve a Times cryptic, because it requires too much British embedded knowledge, I think, to ever be possible for me. I just have to live with that sad truth. So how do we want to think about this in terms of nightliness and nightly vision into other places? want to start on this. I mean, for example, with this, we do instantly know that it's not a 3, 9. It doesn't have our high digits, right? Like the 8's not included and the 6 not included because we don't have a 3. So this really is just 1, 2, 4. That's not true at all. Because of that exclusion. And then additionally, 2 and 4 have some visibility up here. So without the 4, well, without the 2 here, the 1 can't work. So I think this is reduced to just a 2. Is that a true statement? I kind of feel like I did that wrong. Sorry, I just want to run through quickly. Like if in the world of 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, right? Like 8 and 4 and 3 are obviously immediately removed. 6 can't happen because it can't have a buddy there. 1 can't happen because it can't have a 2 there. So it really is just 2. And that 2 has to go with 1 or 4, which I believe is still ambiguous. 2 has a fair amount of visibility into this land, but not supreme visibility. I mean, it does see this person, but this person, it's not 3, it's not 2, it's not 6. Put some constraints on that. We already knew this wasn't a 1 though. I mean, aside from this. So what's the right way to think about this? That does limit this person a bit in terms of what we're allowing here. Is this the next friend to think about? 2 is gonna not exist here, so 1 is not gonna exist here. So there's no 1 because neither of those are 2. There's obviously no 2. 3 can't exist on one side, but could exist on the other. 4 appears to be available either way, although it's not going to be able to, it would only hit the 8. So if we did 4, 6, 8, we know that this isn't a 3, so this isn't a 6, and this isn't an 8, so this isn't a 4. But that seems to still allow oh, Lorena, have a lovely bedtime, I guess. It's kind of weird to say. I didn't really think out that sentence before I finished it. Have a lovely slumber. It was nice to meet you as well. And thank you for the follow, by the way. Thanks for the follow, everybody who followed. I appreciate that. I forget to do that. The bot is broken and I've just refused to fix it because I don't want to. But someday I will, possibly. So what do we think about this? I feel like I don't quite have my head wrapped around the right way to approach this puzzle. So I don't know what to do but clumsily pencil mark. Like 8's gonna see you. I'm gonna just go with clumsily pencil marks for now. You are not a 3, so you're definitely not a 6. 1 is just clearly ruled out of there. An 8, which doesn't do much here. You have no 2, you have no 8, but you could still have 1, 2, you could have 4, 2, you could have 8, 4. These people seem to be valid. This digit is excluded from here, which is kind of interesting. I feel like I kind of missed an exclusion. This person is not this person. That's a somewhat important distinction that these aren't both 4. This person is fully excluded from all of these people. And it's a pretty important Sudoku digit. I mean, Black Kropke digit in particular. Like 2, 4 of the Kropke digits, those are the digits that have multiple friends. 1, 3, 6, and 8 all only have one partner. 2 and 4 have both. So excluding 2 and 4 from here, sorry, 2 or 4 from here is an impactful, which is also true here with the 2. Because it not only removes the 2, it instantly removes the 1, and it's restrictive on the 4. But this person still feels like it could still be 3, 3, 6. Oh, sorry, Sho. I feel like I'm being very clumsy on this one. This digit is fully excluded. Yeah, I mean, that just means that... What does that mean? It just means this digit is fully excluded from here. This digit is also excluded from here, by the way, but... that feels slightly less impactful. This digit is also excluded from here. And there. Who is this digit? It's obviously not this digit. If it was 2, if this was 2, where would it live in here? If this digit was 2, it's fully excluded from those, and it's fully excluded from those, and it's excluded from here. So if it was a 2, it could only live here, and it would have to be friends with a 1 or a 4. Now I'd push a 2 up here as well. 4, though, would have slightly more options, right? Because the 4 is not... actually, the 2 would be a limited... because this could be 4 to be 2, 1. If it was the 2. It was, in fact, the 2. But I feel like I'm moving very slowly on that line of thinking. This still feels like the most restricted place I have at the moment to discuss, though. So just talking through our options, obviously 8 is ruled out, but it's an extreme digit, and it's not that interesting. 2 being ruled out of here, well, 1's ruled out here, but 1 is also ruled out here because of the lack of 2 here. But 3, 6 still appears to be a threat. 2 could not go here, because if I put a 2 here, this is a 4, and then it doesn't matter what this is, because both 2 and 4 would be visible. And 4 doesn't have an 8, and the 2's... Yeah, so that really is just a 3, 6. That is definitely more restricted than it initially seemed, so that helps with these people. It puts 8 in the middle. 8 could still be here, which is funny. It would seem... So this person is not 3, 6, and it doesn't have a 2, so it's only can be 4, 8. It's just there's not another arrangement that is available to us, and that is 4 of the 6 possible Black Kropke digits, and the 1 sees this, so that is the 2 after all, which I think we discussed the possibility of that. I don't know if that forces the 2 to be here, but if this was 2, that was going to be forced. And then this... Oh no, you have to come back. Wait, the question of the secret, the defining properties of blobs. Blob's deepest characteristics. Okay, so we were discussing... Well, 1 is the placement of 1. It does make this a 5, 7, 9. It's not, this is a 7, 9, it would seem, right? This is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Could be 7, can't be 8. Anyway, this 2 can't go with the 4. That does 1ify you, which does fortify you, which 2ifies you, which you're still 1 or 4, however. 8 is going to end up down here, which is going to fortify you. I should turn off the suggestions when I'm doing night puzzles, but in the interest of me not missing incredibly obvious things, maybe I'll keep it on. 2 is going to end up down here, not here though. What else do we know about you? You're 7. The 1 must make an appearance, and then you're going to be the other half of the 7, 9 pair, which I think at this moment is a totally allowed. Ones do not make an appearance here. This is a bit isolated though. The 8 goes down. The 4 is also down here, but I don't think is forbidden by anything yet. 1 does make an appearance here. Ones, we got a lot of 1s. Do we know where 1 lives? I think we do, because 1 sees this and that other 1. So I think 1 does live here, which is going to put a 1 in here, which at the moment is not seen by anyone. Is that true? One's going to be there. One will be here, which is very fun because then the 1 is here and the 2 is here. One will end up down here, and one will end up here. We already knew that one wasn't on this in that location. 8 is seen there, but nowhere else quite yet. 8 here. Well, 8's that's just simple Sudoku. It's not even anything nightly. 8 is forced down here. Tiki, how's it going? Well, thank you for the 4-month subscription streak. How are the bunnies? How are the bunnies faring? So, I lost my train of thought, which is very standard for me. What was I talking about? Were we talking about 8s? Or were we talking about, what's the last thing I placed? 8s. Apparently we were discussing 8s. What else do we know anything at all about? We have some knowledge of 2s in this world. If 2 went here, I would have to go with a 4, which at this moment seems possible. 2's a little creaky in here. I don't know why I said creaky. I was going to say rickety, but even that doesn't make very much sense. Wait, what? Who sees this? Oh, there's a 2 right here. Invisible givens. It was another invisible given. Oh no, were you forced to see an ad? What a tragedy. The buns are hungry and numerous. Wait, I want to see hang on. I don't want to see, I never want to see this, by the way. How do I just not, I don't want to not see this. How do I say, like, all of this go away? I hate all of this. Go away. I want none of this. How do I want none of this. How do we, like, how about show me nothing ever? Great. Tiki, room, bunnies. Go see these bunnies. What these buns doing? What these buns up to? Look at this. Well, I don't care. Buns. This little bun party. Wait, is heat broken? We gotta check out these buns. What's the bun camera? Wait, Potter cam? What is that? We making pots here? What? I want to make pottery. I have 0 ceramics experience. What's going on in the old Buckyard? Bunnies. Oh my god, the bunnies are indeed numerous. And these are the eggs from which the bunnies hatch. So very soon the bunnies will hatch here. Well, that was a very thorough answer. Very nice. Okay, we got bunnies. Okay, I'm going to go back to... wait, these aren't eggs. What's going on in here? Bunny... Wait, are we naming a bunny? Cinder, coconut, diseased coconut. What about diseased coconut as the name? Okay, we're going to solve this puzzle. I believe in our last episode, we were confounded by the invisible given digit, which no one possibly could have seen that. It's just not. I don't know how you could have seen it. It is effectively invisible. These 2s, though, I feel like we have no restrictions here. We've thought about most of our buddies though, right? I mean, in terms of cropkiness, it's getting very warm in this room. It's actually like kind of a nice warm day in Portland. Yeah, it seemed the camera switches were really smooth. It seemed like it worked really well. Okay, obviously we need a 5. What else do we need here? We need a 3 or 6. 3, 5, 6, and only the 6. Oh, sorry, the C3s. C3s? The C3s here? I don't think that's true. I think the 3 C's here. You're just part of 579, right? And no one could possibly ever see that. There's no chance in the universe that a 579 is visible. This digit needs to make an appearance over here. That means this digit is not from 579, and it's not from our normal Sudoku complement, right? So this is a 3, 6. I meant, sorry, our Kropke, from the Kropke brigade, but it's not from 1248. It's from the other part of the Kropke brigade. I feel like I'm being very, very, very slow about this. 5 in the neighborhood. What is remaining here? It's 4, 5, 7. You're certainly not the 4, but you feel like you could be. I mean, 4 is definitely in here, but that's not a very exciting statement. 4 is here, right? This 4 sees up here, this 4 sees here. We're going to place a 4 here. That 4 will see this person. We'll see no other people really. This 4 sees this person, so we'll place a 4 here. This 4 cannot go with an 8, so that is a 2 after all, which is going to do lots for us in the realm of 2s. And I think actually finishes our 2 party. All 2s accounted for. So I believe we've addressed the belt for the most part, and now we just have to struggle through. I have to struggle. You just watch me struggle through basic Sudoku, because how is it even possible? We will place a 3 here. And then that 3 will see this person and this person, which will place a 3 here. And then those 3s will look down here and place a 3 here. That was not as productive as one might have hoped. Oh, I might be up for that. I don't know that I've ever talked about heat on stream. I really need to revisit heat at some point. I wrote a new version like 2 years ago, and then kept telling myself like, well, some of the features I use on Cloudflare were in beta, and so I was just telling myself one day when they're out of beta, I will actually push the new version of heat. But now it's out of beta, but it's been like 2 years, so I don't remember how anything works. So at some point, I do need to like rediscover. Is that funny? Wait, is that true? The Sudoku pad was the indicator? Skojo, how's it going? Great to see you. The Sudoku pad was how you knew that Blobs was famous. that is. Oh, if that's the. I'm delighted to have played a role in that ridiculousness. Imagine like your parents getting fan mail, and you're like, wait, did you just get fan mail? That is so funny. Oh, that is amazing. I'm so glad that I was a participant in that. Speaking of, I owe fan mail to Skojo. Skojo, if you would not mind at some point sending me a mailing address on Discord, I have a Sudoku pad for you that I keep just not sending because I'm a master at procrastinating. I started using Todoist to manage my to-do list, and I've just gotten very good at just advancing everything forward. It's very easy. You just drag it to the next day and you never have to do it. But I do have a Sudoku pad just for Skojo, a year after they're complete, or whenever that was actually finished. But I think we were doing a puzzle. I say there's a puzzle on my screen. It seems to indicate that that's something we were working on. Oh my gosh, when I got the call out puzzle from Blobs. So in a certain way, I got fan mail from Blobs first, right? I don't know if that's very fair. It's just because I was so enraptured by Blobs puzzles and doing them constantly. And then that's when he did, I think it was Garner Quads? What was the name of that puzzle? Garner Quads, I think, was it. And it took me a while because we'll just pretend it was humility and not denseness. That it took me some time to realize, like, wait a minute, this puzzle's about me. There's a 5 in here for whatever that's worth. Which it doesn't feel like much. It does preclude a 5 from being here, but... do 3, 6. What else we need here? We need a 9 in here. Oh, there's some fun things we should probably think about in that realm. So this is 3, 6, 9. The 3 and 6 are going to get seen, but I think not enough. Like no 6 here. Oops. And no 3 here, but we just end up with a little goofy trio. But we do know the 9 is in here, which means there's no 9 here, but I don't think that quite does enough. We don't have any 9s in this puzzle. We should probably get some 9s around here. Feels like a real oversight to not have a single 9 in a puzzle. We have some things about the general neighborhood of some 9s. But the complete whereabouts remain a mystery. The 7 is kind of interesting. I mean, that's cool. Yeah, right, sure. With this, we're going to end up with somehow with a 4-7 pair. Because we know 4's here, because this person peeks in here. But the 7 also peeks down here like a little creepy weirdo, and peeks here and peeks here. So we do get a 4-7 pair, which is charming. And then we need, what, 5, 6, 9 to complete the fun? And those are just not digits we know very much about, sadly. Except for the given 9 that is completely invisible to me, that I just could not ever have seen. It does place a 9 here. I'm just going to place a 9 here, which feels hard. I mean, we're definitely pushing a 9 here, but we already knew that. I feel like I should have learned more from that. Oh, that is, I'm so glad to have been a participant. Good night for real. Good night for real. Okay, what are we doing? I think we're doing Sudoku. There are 9s in here, which precludes a 9 from being in here, right? Is that a true statement? If I put a 9 here, that's a bad time for everyone. So there's no 9 there. There still could be 9 in either of those worlds. I have that funny feeling I get when I'm just missing extremely obvious things. Just outrageously, blindingly obvious things. That tingling sensation that one gets. You know the one. Where are the 6s in the world? Feels like also a thing I should know. Okay. So let's just back up. We know where the 1s are, right? We've placed every one in this puzzle. 2s, feeling very comfortable about 2s. 3s, a bit more limited. I see a glowing orb. I'm going to think about 3s for a second, and then I'll probably give up and look over there. Just want to think about 3s briefly, so I feel like I'm doing something with my life. We have 3s lurking around here. We have 3s in the sky. This is that kind of thing where you've got like a little, like this kind of thing. These are very vulnerable in night puzzles. We've got like little pairs on the fringes, but they just don't feel quite fragile enough. you know? The fragility is limited. These threes are seen here, but it doesn't quite feel like I know the answer. So is it just one of those things where like one of these digits sees 700 digits and I'm just not noticing it because that's a thing I like to do? Down here, do we know this isn't an 8 or something? Or do we know something is an 8? Oh, love that. Okay, yes, right. This is, again, one of my signature moves is talking about something and then not making use of it. So there are certain configurations that are very vulnerable to night attacks. This kind of configuration is very vulnerable to a night attack. This kind of configuration, extremely vulnerable to night attack. And if you were to, why is this not a 8? Because of this, right? If you end up, see, this is the classic, it's like a, what's the opposite of a pincer attack? I don't know military terms. We're dividing and conquering here, basically. This person has the capability to attack both of these, so that's not an 8. So 8 is forced here, which is the opposite of what I just did there. Does that advance us in the world, in our lives? I'm not sure, but I enjoyed it. And that is many of the Black Kropke digits addressed. 579 has to be placed along with a 6. 579 is just something we don't know a great deal about. It makes me feel like there's more of these vulnerable. I gotta go to the gym. These vulnerable positions. 3, 6. We don't really make much progress on the 3s. 4s? Do we feel good about? I don't think we feel very good about 4s, frankly. But maybe we should feel good about 4s. Well, the thing we know about 4s is they live up here. But that's not good enough, is it? In terms of their interactions with their neighbors. I don't think so. 5s we know so little about, it's embarrassing. 6s we know a tiny bit about. 7s we know a tiny bit about. 8s we know something about. Did we learn something new about 8s with the thing we just did? We've got our little X-wing here. And 9s we know so little. So this might just be one of those moments where you're supposed to be good at Sudoku. Obviously I'm not. We do need to place, I mean, we have some of the annoying digits already placed here. So it really is just 3, 5, 6, right? Which is kind of interesting. Well, sure, because it's just all this is. This is a 3, 5, 6 triple. So maybe that's not interesting. Almost interesting. Because it's the same triple here, right? So these two digits must appear up here. This digit's definitely up here, so it must be here. Is that a true statement? That may not actually be true. Let me reevaluate this. This is part of a 3, 5, 6 triple, right? As is this. That means these two digits must. That means this digit must appear here. And then must appear here, right? Which means it can't be a 3. Does that logic hold up in any way at all? No, because there's a 3 here. That's very funny. Again, invisible digits. This digit must appear here and in here, which does allow for that, obviously. It does mean that one of those people is down here, though. Like a 5 or a 6 does land here, which is a thing I would believe. Who else is missing in here, though? It's a 7. The 6, well, it's unfortunate, really, but the 6 here would force a 6 here, which would be kind of a nice thing to know about in life. We know 9 is here, though. You see, this is just an embarrassing moment. if the, yeah, I think I said some things that weren't true because I just was missing this. Am I still not? Do I need to look downstairs more? Here? Am I missing more extraordinarily obvious things? Let's talk about this digit. It sees like the one set of our black Kropke digits, right? 1, 2, 4, 8 are seen. It sees 6. Well, does it see 3? Why did we decide this couldn't be a 3? Because we decided 3 was here. I see. So this is not any of the Kropke digits. It's a 5, 7, 9, and it's not 5. Is that true? I see. Interesting. So this is not 1. It's obviously not 1, 2, 4, or 8. It's also not 3 or 6. So it's 5, 7, or 9. It's not 5. Makes it a 7, 9, so we get a 7, 9 pair. That's great. Okay, thank you for that. Which I think places a 9 here. Is that a true statement? Places a 7, a 9. Did I do that correctly? I suddenly feel like I did that not correctly. You end up as a 5, 7 pair, which means this can't be a 5, or that would break. Does that seem real? So you're part of this 3, 5, 6 triple that everybody's talking about as well. It's all over the news, but we've stated that the 3 is not here, so that really is just the 5, 6 part. 5, 5. The thing about 5 is what? This digit has to be a little bit careful. Not that careful, really. The 3, 5, 6, but then some other person. It's the 7. And the 7. So 7 is down here. You are 3, 5, 6 as well, right? Well, but not 6. So you're just 3, 5? Is that true? Another 3, 5, 6. This whole puzzle is 3, 5, 6s. But you're not 6. But 3, 5, 6 is out the wazoo. We do put our 7. 5 and 7 need to end up here. 7 is not happy with this place. Where's 7 in here? I'm kind of just in the wrong place because it's in this little cul-de-sac. So the other thing we need over here is the other half of the 3, 6 pair, and we also have to place our 9. Oh. Okay, right. We got to place our 9. Our 9 is here. So this is not 9. So this is 9. So we do get a 5, 6 pair there, which is very exciting. And what else do we get? We've talked about there being a 7 down here, and it's with the other half of the 5, 6 pair. So this is like a 5, 6, 7, but the 7's definitely in it. Then you're okay. Well, so you're 5, 6, 7, but 7 is explicitly here. This is almost... The 3s are doing funny stuff, and the 6s go the other way. But I don't think that force something. Not sure. This is 3, 6, 9. But does anyone care about that? I'm sorry. I see clicks out of the corner of my eye that I'm very harshly and cruelly ignoring, in a total disregard for audience interaction. 3, 5, 6, 7 is this person. We've said we believe the 7's over here. Some have said. I mean, this sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but not 9. Do we know anything about? I mean, we're talking about putting 9s over here. I'm sorry, chat. I'm being very rude. Sometimes I just want to feel like I'm solving a puzzle. You know. I see clicks. I see 3s happening. Is this 3 important? Do we talk about this 3? What have we talked about in life? We did not pencil mark 3s in here for reasons that I don't really recall. Why did we not do that? This 3 has visibility there. The downstairs 3. Oh, cool. Okay, this 3, right. This 3 has visibility into this little party here. So 3 is going to live here. And in this case, it's a triple threat that this person is capable of seeing all 3 of these, right? So this can't be our 3. That 3 it's too powerful. So we've got to place a 3 here and place a 3 here. And then this 3-6 little fiasco does something. But I was hoping the 6s would do a thing. The thing has not been done. Those 3s are removed. That does 3ify this fellow and 5ify you. We get the 9, we get the 3, we get the 6. And then that's going to untangle these friends. Thank you to whomever was pointing me to this 3 that I was foolishly ignoring. 8-9 pair. 5 is not a friend. 5 is not here. 5 is here. This is part of a 6-7 pair. We, for some reason that no one remembers, said that 7 is over here. Why did we say that? I mean, it seems to be true, but why? How did I say that? That 7 was here. Oh, a 7 X-Wing. Okay, thank you. So it wasn't just total insanity. There was a reason for me to do that. Because sometimes I like to just mess up pencil marks just to really, really give myself a bad time later on. Just to really make sure I'm going to have a bad time. This is an example of a person that can't be a 6. Okay, well, I hope the pencil marks were good. If they weren't, then we're in for an upsetting experience. 3, 5, 6. Another 3, 5, 6 triple. The 6 season this time. 3, 5, 6, but the 6 is not our friend. 8, 9 pair, 3, 5. You're part of a 3, 5, 7. The 7 we have declared as a resident of this corner. What else do we need to know about life? This person, I think, is allowed to be a 6. Nobody wants it to be, but I think it is allowed to be. 9. Okay, this 9 has visibility there, so 9 is there. So 9 is one of these people. Is that a relevant statement, though? Four, 8, 9. You're part of a 4, 8, 9 triple, but the 9 sees you there, and an 8 sees you there. There's certainly a 4 here. So, okay, this is a 4, 8, 9 triple that the 8 is seen and the 9 is seen, but it is required that 4 make an appearance here. But right, we talked about that, and the 4 was just not very friendly. The arrangement was an unfriendly arrangement. You're not a 6. But you could be. You're not 4 or 7. But I feel like I know something about this, and I don't really know why I know it. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could be 5. And I think you can be 6, right? But you're not 7. You're not 8. And I think we've decided that 9 lives over here. Yeah, because of this. So that's a 5, 6 pair. So this is part of 4, 7, 9. It's not 4. But I think it can still be 7, 9. Well, that was not meaningful. Okay. This is just a mess. What's this mess? Who made this mess here? What is our third digit that we need here? Is a 6. But we've said that it is possible for you to be right. So you are 4, 6, 9. But you are obviously not 4. And you are not 6, and you are not 9. Which these are invisible given digits. So the 4 is forced. Oops. 4 is forced. 4 sees this 9. That gives us our 7. That gives us 4, 7. Okay. I think that was that the straw that broke the camel's back? And by camel I mean puzzle. 7 seems to be forced there, so we are just left with a digit here that is a 5. And a 6 and a 5, and that's going to put our 5 here, I think, and a 6 and a 9 and a 7 and a 3. This is a 6 after all, so it's going to see up here, but that was already seen. You appear to just be an 8, and you appear to just be a 3. Oh, we did it. Show, that was great. Oh, thanks everybody. Okay, we've made it halfway through the secret show collection. And I think I'm gonna go to the gym because it's almost 7 o'clock. But first we should check in with Bowie. Bowie, what did you think of the puzzles? Bowie, hey, Bowie man, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Where's that man? Hi. Hi, buddy. Come here. Boy, man, come here. Come here. Come here. We gotta go to you. Bowie, you're tired of being on camera? You just want to go outside? It's too stuffy in here. Hi, bear. Very good co-host. He just sometimes doesn't want to be on camera. Oh no! Oh no! Okay. Everything is good. Oh, good night to you, Show, and thanks for the puzzles. I will plan in the very near future to do. I want to get through the remaining list, through the remaining show puzzles, and then I also want to. I'm gonna try to get back into doing some design streams, and we will work on the guillotine. While I try to figure out some, like, part of the problem is I want like more fabrication capabilities at home, but I live in an apartment, and so I probably shouldn't buy a mill and a lathe for my apartment, but I think I want to. I just turned 45 last week. Is this my 45th birthday present to myself? Is this like a midlife crisis kind of thing? Like, I obviously need a drill press, but then I'm like, well, if I'm already paying hundreds of dollars for a drill press, shouldn't I just buy a mill? And instead of paying whatever I just said, $500, I could pay almost $5,000 instead. There's a logic there, I think. But I could get this. If it was yellow, I would buy it. Buy it in a heartbeat. And then this person. I'm thinking about this person. These two people. Really am thinking about it. it, like there's a lot of logistics to deal with, a lot of logistical concerns, like noise and mess and power. But like, I mean, I think I've got a 15 amp circuit in my apartment, so as long as they don't have anything else turned on. The lathe is fine though. Lathe's only, ooh, no, the lathe is exactly 15. I think I was looking at a smaller lathe actually. I think there's actually a 20 amp circuit in the kitchen. You're not probably supposed to mess with the wiring in your apartment, but you know. It's a little close. It's a little on the close side. It's costly. This would be a costly endeavor. I don't know. What do I do, everybody? What do I do? Is this a terrible idea? Capital Shed says do it. You could also get like, Proxon makes all these, no. I need more X's in this. How many X's are in Proxon? These are like adorable German tools. Actually, I'm curious about this one. No, I'm not. I don't want a mill and drill. Or like a mill and lathe combo machine. But I could get like, these lathe and mill. How much do these cost? Look at a cute little bitty little mill. Just the tiniest little fella. Just a teeny tiny little person. It's not really the color yellow that I like. It's close. It's only $400, which is wild. Like, do they have a kit that's just like you get all the stuff? Just give me everything. This is a tiny, tiny, tiny lathe. Like, absurdly small. Cartoonishly small. But cute, perhaps? I don't know. In for a penny, in for a pound, is that the expression? We're just gonna be like, let's just go. Let's go nuts. Not that I need like the largest machine that is sold by a little machine shop. But that's the nice one. It's got like the nice DRO and stuff. I could get the less nice package. Which would be, I still want one with a DRO. But this one is a cheap, is like vastly lower price. But it is a vastly lighter machine. It's kind of cute though. Just a little guy. This is not interesting to anyone. I realize that. I'm just entertaining myself at this point. I've gone back and forth on this a lot. So I could spend $10,000. I could buy these less expensive units, which just don't seem as appealing to me. You can get these packages that have everything. by 16. That's only 145 pounds. If I get this one, whew, 300 pounds. I've got to get that upstairs to my second floor apartment somehow. Let's just pay even more money and make it even bigger and more expensive. How does that sound? This comes with tooling. Some tooling at least. I don't really want the cabinet. But I think you effectively get the cabinet for free in this scenario. Just in terms of like the how discounted the other things are. Oh boy, that's costly. Costly endeavor. And even aside from the cost, a very heavy like physically very heavy objects to somehow get up the stairs to my kind of technically third floor apartment. because you go up some stairs to get into the building, you go up the stairs to the foyer, and then you go up 2 flights to get to my floor. Like, oh boy. Is this insane? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Be paralyzed, I guess. Anyway, we're going to start trying to build some things next week. I'm going to finish. I've gone on too long. Show, thank you so much for sharing these puzzles. They were great. Thanks everybody else for stopping by. Thanks for the raid. Always lovely to see everybody. When I don't stream for a while, I get like a lot of anxiety about it. And it feels like a heavy thing to stream a stream if I haven't for a while. But it does me good to interact with everyone, so I really do appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Bye.